Now, our total kilometers to our destination at Busan will be 428 kilometers.
This close, seriously, this close. Just change that badge over.
And that's also going to improve efficiency as well.
There are several speed bumps ahead.
See, she's telling me all the information.
Welcome to beautiful Seoul, South Korea. We're here to test drive this. It's a brand new Hyundai IONIQ 9. Now, a few months ago, we were fortunate enough to actually see the launch of this at the LA Auto Show. And in that review, we went and did a deep dive, but we also said, hey, next time you see this on the channel, we're gonna be behind the wheel. And we've come all the way to Korea as one of the few first in the world to drive this brand new flagship EV from Hyundai. So let's go. If we want to compare size, let's say to the Hyundai Palisade or maybe the Kia EV9, which shares the same platform as this IONIQ 9, this is actually 65 millimeters longer than the Palisade. It's 50 millimeters longer than the EV9. This has a much longer wheelbase than the Palisade, 230 millimeters, and it's 30 millimeters longer than the EV9 as well. This is overall just a bigger vehicle altogether than both those vehicles. And that's really going to benefit from the cargo and passenger room inside. The IONIQ 9 is the most aerodynamic SUV in the Hyundai lineup, even though it's contradictory that it's larger, but it's actually more slippery. If you want to compare this to the IONIQ 5, like we have, the drag coefficient of that is 0.28. This is 0.25, and that is with the digital mirrors, which we're going to talk about in a second. Difference of that drag coefficient actually equals to 17 kilometers more range on this IONIQ 9 compared to the IONIQ 5. You can see how streamlined this is. The front, everything is just all one piece, it really seems, but there is a lot going on. We do have that pixel light theme that we talked about in the previous video. That's a very interesting story on that. There's a matrix of pixels here. These wheel arches, you can see there's some styling going on here. Yes, it's stylish, but it's also functional a little bit because everything is very, very slippery, including the retractable door handles. One way they have improved efficiency is they have introduced a dual action air flap opposed to a single action, but not only do these flip open, but they move laterally as well. And what that does is at speed, sometimes if you don't have that something pushing against it, you can actually get a little bit of leakage, and that actually does make a difference in efficiency. Also, underneath here, instead of using just a flat bottom, that you have used kind of like a 3D sculpted front and back, and that's also going to improve efficiency as well. Now on the back end, they could have even made this even more slippery because this is kind of like shaped like a yacht, how it is tapered and it kind of rounds out and then bows out in the back. Except this car would probably be like 30 feet long if it actually went all the way back, but it is still very aero. There's one thing you cannot miss with this IONIQ 9, and it's the pixel light signature that goes right up and over the top of it at nighttime. It's unmistakable. You can see this from a mile away, definitely. You get the IONIQ 9 in the back here, more pixel themes, and we have multiple cameras, which we'll talk about here, hands-free power liftgate. Open this up, and what you're gonna find here is an extremely large boxy opening. Look how boxy it is. Load level, really, really easy. Load things. Additional storage. Underneath here, there is no spare tire on this. You do get a mobility kit. We're seeing that more and more. We mentioned it's larger wheelbase, and this is where it really does benefit. So overall cargo room is set at 2,460 liters, which is 86.9 cubic feet. And that's 146 liters more than the Kia EV9. Behind the second row, 1,323 liters. And with the third row up even behind there, you get 620 liters of cargo room, which is 47 more over the EV9. And if you're really curious to see how long this area is, well, I'm going to actually climb in here to show you. Now we are in the 6-passenger, but imagine this as a bench, so you're not gonna have this hole here. And I can go all the way back here. I'm laying down and I'm not anywhere close to my feet at the end here, and it's completely flat. You could easily go and do car camping in this, and you also have utility mode, so you actually have heat, you can watch movies, all that in the inside of your IONIQ 9. Now, open up the front hood. You will get additional storage here. Now, it's going to vary depending if you get the all-wheel drive or the rear-wheel drive version. The rear-wheel drive will have up to 88 liters of additional storage. You get about 20 less with the all-wheel drive like we have here, but it's still a good amount of room. Nice and clean here, but yeah, you can put your charger here or your computer if you want to hide things away. It's okay. Okay, now the interior, I said this before on the previous video, it's so premium looking, feeling. When you sit in here, you're just like, wow, this is a Hyundai, like this is not a Genesis. It's just like that. And you know what, we were tricked in the last video and I corrected it. I thought these were animal leather seats, but they're not. This is faux leather, but you would never ever know the difference. The perforations in it are perfect. Now you have different colors on here. I'm showing you a different color interior, so lots of different choices, but the fit, the finish of the steering wheel, the seats, the door panels on here, it is meticulous. You even have this kind of Alcantara style roof on this particular one. Of course, we have that a standard dual 12.3 inch curved display, wireless Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. We also get a head-up display, and this is also new. We talked about that, and that's the universal sliding console 2.0. We actually have this on our IONIQ 5, but the difference with this is, first of all, it slides further than what ours does. But what I also think is really handy, a lot of times we actually swap drivers. Maybe I'm driving to the subway and we get there, I'm gonna get out and my wife just slides over without having to get out of the car. That's also handy. But also you can provide more room for the second row passengers by sliding this forward. But what's also different, you can access it from the front, or people in the back can also access it as well. So we actually put this to use. We had people in the back during our road trip here in South Korea, and it's really easy for people to access things. Plus, if you want, you can actually put additional items underneath there. You can put like 6 water bottles, so lots of room there. We have wireless charging. We even have a fingerprint scanner. This also uses digital key, so if you don't want to carry your key fob around, you can actually set this up and just use your phone. So we have heated, ventilated seats, heated steering wheel. We also get massage on this driver one. Now we talked about on the outside, this gets digital mirrors. We do not get that in the North American market. And I gotta say, this is my first time using them and I wasn't sure. And it took me, I would say, probably a good hour or so to get used to them. And once you get used to them though, I love them. Like I really do. Not only are they so clear, but like when you put your signal on, it actually superimposes actually 2 lines basically showing where your vehicle is in comparison in relation to the other vehicles, so you really know. So it's kind of, it has some redundancy to it and it's very accurate. And to move them, you just move them just like a regular mirror. It's wild. It really is wild. So I would like to see us get that in North America. I'm sure, you know, it's gonna come, but we're just always a little bit behind there. Speaking of cameras there, we also have a digital rear view camera. So if you have the car loaded with people or cargo, hey, that's gonna be really handy. We have the large panel roof, and of course our dual zone climate control. And one other thing that's very cool is the connectivity, or basically it's the charging speed of what this has. So this uses USB-Cs in all 3 rows, and get this, you can charge up to 100 watts per outlet. So you want to charge your iPad Pro, your MacBook Pro, anything, your large tablet or computer, you can do that right from those outlets. Most of the time you're only getting like, you know, 15 or 25 watts max out of an outlet, and it's going to take you a long time. This is going to keep your devices charged, topped up all the time, and very, very quick at that. Hyundai has really upped the interior game on this IONIQ 9. I'm telling you, if you have a chance, go into a dealership or an auto show, sit in here, and you're gonna think like, this is a Hyundai. There's no way. You know, especially this is an IONIQ. You know, we own an IONIQ and it's the top of the line and we love it. but compared to our vehicle, this just feels like it is light years ahead in just features, but not just that, but the materials and the design. It's something to aspire us to actually move up for sure. It wouldn't just be a bigger vehicle. It's a whole different ball game, this IONIQ 9. Now, your passengers, young or old, will not be complaining if they have to sit in the back at all in the IONIQ 9. Hands down. Now, this is a Korean model, so there are a few things that we don't get on our trims in North America. One is this infotainment screen. We have 2 of those on each side. We do not get those. And also, you can also get actual rotating seats in some markets, which we don't get. And you know what? I could take it or leave it. I actually have played with them before, and yeah, you can actually rotate them 180 degrees for the second row, so you can actually face the third row passengers, not when you're driving, but you know, you can maybe want to have a little bit of a picnic lunch or something, but it is kind of tight. But I can see the benefit of that rotating seat though, is you can rotate it 90 degrees, and that can make it easier to actually load a car seat or load a child in and then swivel them back. That would be a nice feature, but not available on there. But we are in the top trim now in Canada. That would be the ultimate calligraphy, and these are what you're going to get. You'll actually get relaxation seats. We do not have massage feature in Canada for the second row, but very, very well equipped. We have heating, we have ventilation, big windows with sunshades, and we already checked it out. These windows do go all the way down. Nice ratcheting armrests here. These ones have some controls in them for that display system. Now, even though we don't get the display system, one thing that we will get, it's gonna roll out pretty soon, it's called FOD, or Features on Demand, and this is the first model from Hyundai that will actually be offered that. So not just over-the-air updates will be available, but you could actually purchase, I'm not sure if it'll be a one-time or a subscription-based, but some features, like you want a special animation for your lights. Could be maybe it's gonna do something with your sports team or something, or some entertainment streaming. And one thing that I've heard that may be coming down the pipe is car karaoke. Yes, you might be able to pay, you know, a small subscription or just one-time fee. Hey, that could be pretty fun. So that's something that's new, that's coming down the pipe, and right now we don't have all the details of that yet. Now this is a 6-passenger, so 2 and 2 on here. That will be available on the very top trim Calligraphy Ultimate. You will not be able to get a bench seat in our market with that. In other markets, you can get the top trim, whatever it's going to be called in your market, and you can actually get a bench seat for the second row. I guess, you know, our market's a little bit smaller. I really do wish that you could get a bench seat on the top trim, because then it would make a 7-passenger and you're not gonna get any compromises. But these are definitely way more comfortable. You have a nice separation here, and that makes it easy to actually get in and out of that third row if you want, or you can just hit the button and it's just gonna come up. But yeah, these are even power seats back here. All right, in the previous video, we did show you what it's like to be in the third row, but I'm just gonna check it out again. You could go through the middle in this case, or you can just hit the one-touch button there and down. That is gonna come. All right, so we are back here. It's actually decent room for 2 people. I just can't believe how nice it is back here. So we have power reclining seats in the rear as well. We have our own air vents, are very, very slim. You get this view of this large panoramic roof, and you have a large window on either side for the third row, and that's it really doesn't feel very claustrophobic, and a ton of headroom. I'm telling you, there is a lot of room, so very usable. Now, one thing that is also new to the IONIQ 9 is they're using a dual HVAC system. And this is going to be even more efficient. First of all, they've updated the system so the components are more streamlined, so they take up less room, meaning you can actually make the cabin larger, but they've separated it so the second and third row use a different system. And where this is going to benefit is that if the system knows that there is no one in the second and third row, it actually just turns it off So you are saving energy, not heating this area up and just heating the front up. Of course, this uses a heat pump, but this is going to really make things even more efficient. So we talked about the underside, we've talked about the active dual air flaps, we've talked about the drag coefficient, and all these things added together really will make a difference, especially when you get to the drive. So speaking of drive, let's do it. Okay, I'm bringing you along kind of behind the scenes. We're doing some car-to-car in Busan. So this is our final destination. We started in Seoul, South Korea. And so our journey took us about almost 500 kilometers south of Seoul to beautiful coastal city called Busan. Absolutely gorgeous. It's marinas. This is a part of South Korea I didn't even know about. And yeah, I would definitely come back here for sure. So look at the ocean here. Look at these. So these images are just fabulous. Thank you for the Hyundai team for providing me a crew to work with here. So let's talk about what we've been doing for the last couple of days, driving this IONIQ 9, not just in the city, which, you know, this is a good test for the comfort-wise, because we were sitting in traffic for a lot. There's a lot of traffic in South Korea at times for sure. And so you want something comfortable. I mentioned how comfortable these seats are. Also, the comfort of the ride, you know, before we even go into the horsepower and everything else, it's just the ride quality of this thing. First of all, you know, this E-GMP platform, which is shared with the IONIQ 5, the IONIQ 6, even the Kia EV9. It's been extended so that wheelbase is longer. It's been revamped. It's extremely stiff. And along with that, you have acoustic glass. You have low noise tires. You put it all together, and this thing is one of the quietest vehicles that you could probably sit in. We were on rough roads, even speed bumps, country roads in these tiny little towns and villages. And it's insane how quiet it is in here. What you're hearing right now, we are driving around town and we don't have any post audio mixing here.
Speed bumps ahead.
And there is our friend, which is the navigation, and she tells us everything. Speed bumps, don't miss this turn. Their navigation systems are so thorough here, it might even kind of drive you nuts a little bit, maybe a lot. Well, we have 3 different trims. We have a long-range rear-wheel drive, we have a long-range all-wheel drive, and a long-range all-wheel drive performance. So the rear-wheel drive gets 160 kilowatt rear motor, and the all-wheel drive adds a 70 kilowatt electric motor onto the front, and the performance that we're driving right now has 2 160 kilowatt motors front and back. That is going to give you 422 horsepower and 516 pound-feet. If you go just for the rear-wheel drive, you are just going to top out at 215 horsepower, and the all-wheel drive non-performance, you'll get 303 horsepower. Now, here's the thing. All IONIQ 9s come with only one battery option, and that's 110 kilowatt hour, which is a large battery. That is larger than the Kia EV9 as well. And where this is going to benefit, along with all those aerodynamic tricks and things that we talked about, is range. So if you go just for the long range rear wheel drive, we are talking 335 miles or 540 kilometers of range on that. And since launch time, they've actually refined things and realized that this performance trim has even gotten a 20 kilometer bump. So you get almost 500 kilometers of range on this all-wheel drive. Of course, there's preconditioning so you can get the max out of the charge. So for our journey, we actually averaged about between 20 and 21 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. Very, very good. Like we're talking, that's the same, if not better than our IONIQ 5 all-wheel drive limited. So once again, we talked about those efficiencies, and it's all gonna add up, except you are getting more power and you're getting a way bigger vehicle and getting the same type of efficiency. It's a win-win-win situation across the board. All right, stop for a little bit of a break. Now, our total kilometers to our destination Busan will be 428 kilometers. We're only 100K away, and we could actually make it there all on one charge. It's pretty cold. We started out in Seoul, and it was about -7 degrees Celsius. It is freezing cold here. It's not as cold here though, yeah, we could have actually made it, but we wanted to check out the charging. So this does have 350 kilowatt charging. It'll go 10 to 80% in just 24 minutes, depending on the speed of charger. By the way, some people have asked, where is the charger? It is on the passenger side, and it will be an NACS charger when we get it in North America. Right now, this one's a CCS, but you also get a CCS adapter for your NACS port as well when it does come. If you want to get the most efficiency, you can, of course, play with your Regen settings. Now this is equipped with the latest, which is called like the Regen, Smart Regen 3.0, and what the difference is that it uses the navigation system as well. For instance, you know, you're getting off of the freeway, even though there's not a car in front of you for the sensors to pick it up, it knows that you're coming off, and it'll automatically start braking for you and regenerating power without you even doing anything. You can also set the strength of that, because I found that I had to turn it down because it was quite aggressive. For some people that like that, perfect. For me, I'm not a big Regen fan. So yeah, it was really, really good though. It's good that it has it, and it's good that Hyundai gives you options. So what do you think so far of this Hyundai IONIQ 9? Leave a comment below. You know, this is not for everyone. First of all, not everyone needs a 3-row SUV. Second of all, not everyone needs an electric 3-row SUV, but for the people that are, you know, they want to go electric, and there's a lot of people out there, or maybe you're electric already like us with the IONIQ 5, and you want to upgrade to something a little bit more premium and bigger, this checks all the boxes for sure. All right, we're testing out the U-turn capabilities of the IONIQ 9, because it is a long wheelbase, right? Oh, it is. It's adequate. This is not a light vehicle, obviously, with a 110 kilowatt hour battery. It's, you know, it's over 5,000 pounds, but it really, the suspension takes advantage of that with that, you know, real rigid platform, the E-GMP, and the ride quality is basically luxurious. It really is. And we don't even have adaptive suspension on here. Tons of speed bumps in Korea, a lot of speed bumps, a lot of cobblestone type of really bumpy roads. This thing really soaks it all up. How does it handle dynamically? Well, it is a large vehicle, but being that the center of gravity is very low and that rigid platform, it really aids in that. It's very easy to drive, but not too easy. I don't like vehicles that are too easy to steer. Around town here, even though I'm not familiar with this city, it's easy to navigate, especially with the greenhouse is really big. And the cameras, you know, we talked about those side view cameras. I wish we could get those, but even the 360 cameras, you sit up high, commanding view of the road. And then there is, of course, acceleration with the performance model, you know, 0 to 60.
Speed bump is ahead.
0 to 60, which we're not going to do over the speed bump ahead, is under 5 seconds for this vehicle. It's like, this is a big 5,000 pound vehicle. It's amazing.
There are several speed bumps ahead.
See, she's telling me all the information. She's gonna tell me what to have for lunch pretty soon, I think.
She reads your mind.
She reads my mind. And I want Korean barbecue again. One thing we didn't even mention is that they cleaned up everything so well. Like, there's not even an antenna visible or protruding on this vehicle. So not even a little shark fin or anything. That's the attention to detail that they did for the design aesthetically, but, you know, more so the actual functionality for the aerodynamics of this vehicle. Here's something interesting. Last week, I actually test drove the new Genesis GV80 Coupe. You know, so this is a luxury brand vehicle, and getting into here, I'm telling you, there's not a lot of difference in the fit and finish, when you feel the steering wheel, this feels way more of a premium experience that what you expect, but you would expect this in a more expensive brand and vehicle for sure. When I close the doors here, there's so many times I've just actually kind of just made it click because I'm expecting the doors to suck them in with soft closed doors. Well, of course, it doesn't have it, but you almost expect it. At least I did, because it just doesn't feel like an IONIQ at all. So yeah, this is, you could call this Genesis Light, but or just not. It's more than just Genesis Light. It is this close. Seriously, this close. Just change that badge over. You can call this a Genesis. All right, it's about that time, everybody. We are getting ready to head back home, but what I have to say is not only has it been an amazing pleasure to spend time in this brand new Hyundai IONIQ 9, but also to explore South Korea. There is so much here, and it's got so much to offer. If you have never been here, really check it out. And the food, fantastic, I'm telling you. But one thing I noticed though, while we've been here, is some of the Hyundai vehicles here, they're wild. They have so many other models that we do not get in North America. And some of them, you'd be surprised. You'd think, well, that's a nice new Genesis, but it's not. These are Hyundai vehicles. And I think this is filtered down to what this IONIQ 9 is representing, because unlike just a larger IONIQ 5 or 6, this is a whole different vehicle, as we explained, but it's getting that premiumness of some of these Korean Hyundais in this package globally. And I think a lot of people are going to really embrace this. How much is it going to cost? Well, we don't have any pricing yet, but this is just starting to sell in Korea, and it's going to go for about 6.7 million won, which is equivalent to about 47,000 US dollars. In Canadian dollars, we're talking about $65,000, $66,000 if we just convert that. So we're just speculating here. If you think about that, that is, for the entry price, there's only one battery size, which is 110 kilowatts hours, so really big battery. You're gonna get a large range for sure if you just get that rear wheel drive, and you're getting a lot of vehicle for your money here. Lots of technology, lots of function. This isn't just for families, whether you're an outdoors person, you wanna just explore and you just want the extra room, or if you want something that has a lot of premium touches but don't wanna spend the big money. You know what? We just were in Sweden a couple weeks ago and we test drove the brand new Volvo EX90 on the ice. What a blast. We love that vehicle. It's smooth, it's powerful, what a beautiful interior. However, it's a different class. That's a luxury vehicle, and that's about $40,000 more than the entry price of this IONIQ 9. And is it that much farther ahead? I wouldn't say. It's $40,000. So this is why this is going to be a big deal for anyone looking for a large electric vehicle. So when is this coming? We're gonna be seeing these IONIQ 9s in our Canadian dealerships as soon as May 2025. Now, if they could only do something about this key fob. I think this vehicle definitely deserves something better than this plasticky one. Come on, Hyundai. From South Korea, Annyeong. Like always, if you enjoyed this video or any content on the channel, I have a lot of videos, and not just automotive. We have tech, outdoor equipment, including robotic lawnmowers and snow blowers, and even travel, so something for everyone. I would really appreciate if you hit that like and subscribe button. It's completely free, and it allows me to continue creating more content like this for you. Hope to see you on the next video. Bye.